10 minutes left for questions, because I think we covered many elements of that wide universum of smart cities. We can start asking ourselves some questions, but as our chair stated in the beginning, the purpose was to be a little bit provocative, and I hope we were, and I'm sure some of you have some questions to challenge us more. Not everyone? Oh.
Hello, I'm from the smart city of Waterloo, Canada, and I've been a politician there for a long time. Politician before open data, and now a politician in the big data era. And I can tell you that politicians are a little more trusted now because of the open data world we live in. At least I hope we are. The issue for us is that citizens don't mind paying for hard services like snow plowing or parks, but they just hate to pay for the soft services such as open data and data management, which is very expensive for cities. How do we convince our citizens that data management and open data policies are actually hard services for the future and not soft services that they don't want to spend money on?
Who's taking that service?
I think Hervé is the best.
Actually, I would have many examples in smart cities or smart building. The problem today, maybe the case of smart building is a good example because it's a closed area and you can understand everything. If you take a smart building today, for example, or building, you have different silos. One to manage the electricity, one to manage the heating, one to manage the security, and so on, the water. And today you have a kind of subsystem to try to understand the whole building as a whole, and to manage the quality of services. I can say that this conjunction of different silos, it's a waste of. That's the technology as it is today, but at the end, that's a waste of money, because today you can find out and develop a new technology and make a direct correlation between different data coming from different components either in electricity and either in heating, for example, and adapt, for example, the consumption. For cities, that's quite the same. For example, you can have a correlation between the traffic, the energy, the weather, and so on. And obviously, you don't have the direct. It's a little bit complex to measure the direct benefits regarding the money, but I can find there are real concrete case for which you can demonstrate that at the end you can win a lot of money. That's the problem of the city is that silos. And big data is a technology among others, but it's a technology to cross data from silos and to optimize the quality of service of the city.
I want to add on what Hervé was saying. I see no contradiction between open data and it's best done when you aggregate data. There are often very real financial benefits. So, for example, in Madrid project, which I was describing, if you save 6% on city services, it pays for a lot of IT implementation. And at the same time, it gives you the platform to open the data for the citizens. So they go together. You first build the platform, aggregate the data. It brings the financial benefits for the city, and then you open this data for the citizens. It's not. You don't have to pay for open data with taxpayers' money.
I think open data is a product for already many long years. Weather forecast, for example. I need that data before I leave my house in the morning. And nowadays, when you can tell me as a city, don't take your car because there are traffic jams, take the public transport or your bike today, that's very valuable data.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I congratulate all of you for your presentation. That was brilliant. On purpose, I will ask you a little bit provocative question. We have been discussing smart cities and communities for many years, and today, when I was hearing to you, I had the impression that these solutions are not exactly the same as they have been before, but the questions, the issues, the challenges are about the same. And I've been a witness of the first instances of European Commission in smart cities 20 years ago. In a way, we celebrate this year the 20th anniversary of telecities, tele-regions, etc. 20 years after, I have the impression that we are still at the level of refining the questions, testing the solutions, but have we really done something that we could call an achievement? And in other words, how do you think we should manage change? There has been, over the last few years, an acceleration of change, probably, in technology, in our understanding of issues. 20 years ago, we didn't talk about open data, even less about big data. That's true. But we had the same concerns. For me, the common thread over the years has been probably a universal shift from the notion of competition to collaboration. I remember I was in Washington, D.C. in 1999, and there was a meeting on competitive cities. I'm sure such a meeting wouldn't take place today. We are more at the level of co-creation, cooperation, etc. That has been, as I said, a kind of common thread over the last 2 decades. For the rest, I wonder what will make that in 20 years from now, the same panel as we are today, or our children, will not face the same problems with only a kind of indication of what should be done. So how do you intend to manage change to make that in the years to come, we can speak about achievements and not only about issues?
I think that's a question for our city representatives. From Tallinn, is Le Molino.
Okay.
Is it all the same?
Okay, I will start. You know, that's a little bit joke, but anyway, that's quite true. I read on my hotel, one of the floors, a very good word that says that happiness is not a destination, it is a journey. You see that all those issues which you are talking, they are continuous. Technology is changing, and sometimes we are repeating maybe some mistakes, but maybe to repeat some of steps and make them or inform others what we did will create a new knowledge on what we can be on top of those problems. And that means we are humans. We have to share our information and knowledges. And anyway, some things will repeat. As you know, history is also like coming up circle, but it repeats same things, but on another level. So that's for I'm thinking that share of information and same time getting this information from others and using them for our benefits. This is a value. And its values also in organization like the European Union, where we are getting together, we are trying to reshape those solutions. And sometimes I can say that Estonian and Tallinn experience is a small countries and small city experience. We hardly, to compare with cities where is a number of inhabitants starting 1 million. But anyway, good. That's some sort of way how to solve things will give us answer for future. And that means, anyway, we will talk a little bit later also, maybe, about not the same issues, because today I hope we can solve these issues, but we can talk about relatively same issues, but they are brand new good. As earlier good panel talked about those 3Gs, 4Gs, and now we're facing 5G good, I guess we will facing relatively same problems, but right on new level again.
Thanks.
I couldn't agree more about this comment. So being a smart city means being a city with continuous improvement. So if you want to be smart in 20 years' time, that means you have to improve the performance all the time. If you stop development, I think that is the alarming signal that then you are not any longer a smart city.
Perhaps a last question?
There are some figures, because 20 years ago, there's a big change. The main change regarding ICT is the connection of broadband and mobility, including the service. So you have around 90% of the population in Europe access to internet by broadband or mobile, and quite 80% use, for example, e-service with the cities, and it didn't exist at that time. So that's figure. It doesn't solve everything in the city, but that's improvement.
Perhaps a last question, and
May
then
I?
Padding, the
Yes.
organizers assured us that there will be lunch for everyone.
I've got a question that relates a little bit to the last question from Gerald. If smart cities are going to fulfill their potential, they need smart people. Would the panel comment on the fact that most national education systems are more applicable to an industrial age than they are to what we've been talking about, and there seems to be very little change in that area. And related to that, we run the risk potentially of having a new divide in our cities that's not based on a financial divide, but actually a technological divide, in that the more we push forward with these technologies, the more we are potentially leaving a section of the community, probably an older section of the community, behind.
Let me answer both questions, young and old. So first, I disagree that our kids are falling behind. In fact, I learn about new technology from my kids, especially my 12-year-old. So I think we are underestimating of how much change there is in our schools.
I didn't say the kids. The kids are keeping pace. I'm saying the education paradigm
system
that's in place in most countries is still based on the old industrial model of education. We're not teaching kids change, critical thinking, creative thinking, or any of the new literacies that they will need to fully fulfill their potential, I believe.
Could be true. I agree with you. So programs need to catch up with where kids already are. And second, on older people, we have great examples where technology makes their life better and easier. I just want to give one example. We have, IBM has a big partnership with Apple now, and now we have partnership with Japan Post, between Apple, IBM, and Japan Post, where we will deploy iPads to 5 million senior citizens in Japan and build apps specifically to make their life better, easier, make it easier to connect with the family so that they can live in their homes longer. So I don't see a contradiction between technology, new technology, iPads, and senior citizens. I don't think I think there are great examples where they're not left behind.
Okay, can I add a couple words? Estonians often say that you have to learn all your lifetime, but unfortunately you will die as a dummy. And that means that nowadays, from my point of view, learning is continuous. You have to start from very beginning on as a kid, and you have to continue your learning whole your lifetime, because this is only one opportunity how to manage in nowadays world. And you're talking great things about the digital divide or divide between social groups. And by the way, we have noticed also this problem, and we are trying to re-educate or make additional education for older people who are pensioners, also for socially deprived families. And there is a quite interesting story because their kids are smarter than parents. And parents and kids, they have a sort of some psychological problems between themselves because one hand side they can't say that my kid is smarter than I can. And that's for we have started computer training courses. This is not only learning what is a computer is, but how to use it for older people, as I mentioned, and also for adults. And those centers are organized in Tallinn, by way, is divided into 8 districts. In any district center, there is a so-called computer classes. And also Tallinn's Central Library, who has, as I remember, 18 district libraries. They are also organizing those courses. And also librarians, they have changed their quality because they nowadays are not only librarians, they are also consultants on computer use. I think this is one way to find out a solution here. Thank you.
Thanks for this.
One comment concerning these elderly people. We are the tomorrow's elderly people, so I think that is already a part of the solutions, because I think we can cope with the development because we do already know the technologies, and I'm sure we can also keep the development going on even to the older ages.
Hugo, I'm sorry, but we must stop because there is another meeting in about three-quarters of an hour.
That was my intention.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry. On this wise last quotes, I'd like to thank you all. In the first place, my chair and my panel members who brought you, I hope so, a lot of interesting thoughts. And also thank you for your interactivity. And let's discuss further on this next year in the next Global Forum.
Or maybe through the social media, we have opened the social